Imagine a quiet Texas morning on a family ranch that's been in the same hands since 1952. The air carries the scent of sweet hay and cracked leather from the barn, while cattle low softly near the fence, waiting for feed. Then comes the rumble of a lifted F-250 diesel, parking squarely across the only gate, blocking access completely. Behind the wheel sits Brenda Kowalski, clipboard in hand, fake badge pinned to her shirt, acting like she's the law in a neighborhood that sprouted up around the ranch years later. Brenda, a 45-year-old real estate agent from Ohio who'd moved south after a divorce, had appointed herself the enforcement coordinator for the new Willowbrook HOA. She claimed the ranch's agricultural odors and unsightly operations violated community standards, even though the 40-acre property predated the subdivision by decades and had never signed any HOA agreements. Deed records from Eisenhower's time proved it, but she counted on an elderly owner being too tired, too poor, or too intimidated to fight back. Ezra Hendress, 73, had spent 4 decades moving derailed freight trains weighing 200 tons. He knew leverage, patience, and accurate records. He also knew what it felt like to watch hungry animals pace, because someone decided their power trip mattered more than basic access. Every morning at 7 sharp, Brenda returned, sometimes with a cooler and folding chair, turning the gate into her personal stakeout. She idled her engine, sending black smoke across the pasture, and photographed everything while Ezra struggled to get feed to his pregnant heifers. His granddaughter Sage, 22 and studying pre-law at UT Austin, hiked through dew-soaked grass from a quarter-mile away just to help with chores. The harassment escalated. Brenda filed police reports alleging threats when Ezra politely asked her to move. She recruited HOA board members to join the blockade. 3 trucks now, coordinated via WhatsApp like a suburban patrol. Deliveries stopped. The hay supplier refused to hike bales across open prairie. The vet had to abandon equipment during an emergency call for a distressed heifer, delaying care and stressing the herd. Cattle weren't gaining weight or breeding properly. Real financial hits for a small operation. Sage dug into records at the courthouse and online. Brenda's enforcement credentials were homemade, printed at a FedEx store. She wasn't licensed as an HOA manager in Texas, making her citations worthless and her fee collection potentially criminal. Worse, old real estate listings from Ohio showed Brenda promising buyers that the ranch would soon be developed into retail space. She was using the property as a selling point to inflate home values, while secretly coordinating with a Dallas developer eyeing the groundwater rights. Emails and public filings hinted at a finder's fee for every for sale. Ezra started his own records, trail cams, timestamps on an old railroad pocket watch, videos from Sage. A local property lawyer confirmed that blocking private access for over 30 minutes was criminal trespass in Texas, and owners could remove trespassing vehicles with reasonable force. No damage needed. Deputy Martinez, who knew Ezra from high school, quietly warned that Brenda was building a paper trail, even asking about competency hearings for elderly owners. The community split. Some subdivision residents backed Brenda, wanting manicured lawns over cattle smells. Others stayed silent, fearing her violation notices for trivial things like mailbox height. But acts of kindness from Ezra, helping fix a neighbor's fence after a storm, sharing hay during a drought, quietly built support. Mrs. Olivia, an elderly Vietnamese neighbor famous for her tomatoes, dropped by with vegetables and a saying, "The loudest duck gets shot first." Brenda pushed harder. Health department complaints, EPA reports, agriculture inspections, all frivolous but costly in fees and time. She spread rumors about diseases from the cattle, groundwater contamination, even hints that Ezra was too old to manage the ranch safely. Financial pressure mounted. Ezra considered selling breeding stock he'd raised from calves. Then Sage uncovered the desperation. Brenda was months behind on her own taxes. Her HOA outfit owed state penalties, and she'd been dipping into fees for personal use. The developer connection solidified. Plans already filed including Ezra's land. This wasn't random bullying. It was part of a pattern targeting rural holdouts. Ezra prepared quietly. He serviced his 1985 Ford tractor, tested the PTO winch, and coiled 200 feet of heavy logging chain in the barn, the kind railroads used to right derailed cars. No drama, just routine maintenance. One sweltering morning, Brenda staged her boldest occupation: chairs, cooler, full-day blockade. Sage filmed from across the road. Deputy Martinez parked nearby. Ezra backed out the tractor, looped the chain through her trailer hitch with practiced efficiency, and engaged the winch. Slowly, inexorably, the F-250 slid sideways off the gate and onto the soft creek bank, sinking axle deep in mud. No scratches, no broken parts, just stuck, undamaged, and utterly humiliating. Brenda exploded out, screaming about theft while mud sucked at her boots. The deputy explained calmly: legal removal of a trespasser. A crowd gathered, neighbors recording, some laughing, others calling tow trucks. The video Sage posted exploded in rural groups, racking up views as people shared their own HOA nightmares. Allies flipped. Brenda's hired muscle vanished when assault charges loomed from an earlier shove caught on camera. Arrest warrants followed for impersonation, fraud, harassment, and conspiracy. Search warrants revealed the developer scheme, triggering broader investigations. At the next HOA meeting, packed with residents, media, and other targeted owners, apologies flowed. Financial irregularities surfaced, missing funds, selective enforcement. The board cleaned house, refunded fees, and adopted rules protecting agricultural properties. Months later, the neighborhood healed. Residents volunteered on the ranch. Kids visited to learn about cattle. Friendships bridged suburban and rural worlds. Brenda pleaded guilty to charges, serving time, and paying restitution. The developer faced fines and lost their Texas license. Ezra placed his land in a conservation easement, ensuring it stayed ranch forever. Sage helped launch a defense fund for similar cases. In the end, it wasn't rage that won. It was quiet preparation, good documentation, a bit of physics, and the stubborn refusal to let a bully steal what generations had built. Sometimes the biggest problems move when you apply the right leverage, and the land remembers who respects it.